Hi guys, and welcome back to another vlog where we're gonna be reading books. I bet you were surprised. You didn't expect that. So for today's video, we're going to be doing and participating in one of my favorite things on YouTube, which is Winterween. I absolutely love Winterween. I participated in Winterween last year, so if you want to see that vlog, I'll link it up here. But this year I am participating yet again, and if you don't know what Winterween is, it is basically almost a week-long readathon that is hosted and created by Gabby Reads. I'm very excited to participate this year. Gabby comes up with this cool readathon that is all centered around Halloween but make it winter themed, which I love. I know that her sister also helps her with like all of the graphics and things like that. It's super cute, it's super fun, it's spooky but also cute, and I love that. So for this year's Winterween, it is going to be from January 9th to January 15th. I originally thought it was January 12th, so I'm really excited to know that there's more time in my timeline to read the books that I've selected. I will only be reading 3 books for this vlog, but one of them is very chunky, one is an anticipated read, and one of them is a short little novella, so I'm very excited to show you what I'm going to be reading. Here is the prompt for Winterween. First prompt for Winterween, I'm losing it. The first prompt is to read a book at night or in the dark. We already do this almost every darn day anyway, so very excited for that. Check, basically. Prompt number 2 is to read a horror or thriller book. The book we'll be reading for prompt number 2 for the horror or thriller book is going to be Mapping the Interior by Stephen Graham Jones. This is a short little novella. Very excited to get to this. This was on my TBR for the month, so perfectly fit the readathon. That was by coincidence and not by design, I'll have you know. Prompt number 3 is to read a book that is red cover or has blood on the cover, and we're going to be reading Vicious by V.E. Schwab for prompt number 3. I actually picked this one again before I even knew it, so very excited about that. Prompt number 4 is going to be read a book with a vampire or werewolf or witches, etc. I'm taking the etc. route and reading a book with ghosts, and that again is fulfilled by Mapping the Interior by Stephen Graham Jones, as this is a short novella that is about a 12-year-old boy whose dad comes home, but his dad's dead. So I think that covers that prompt fairly well. And then prompt number 5 is going to be read a 2025 release you never got around to. And I also had the perfect book already on my TBR, which is Wild Dark Shore. I wanted to read this. I am excited to cry and be tearful and sad while I read this. So we're gonna be reading Wild Dark Shore for prompt number 5. I'm super excited to jump into all of these books. I cannot wait. So since I can't wait, we're gonna get started. I don't know what I want to start with. I think because today is almost over, I'm gonna start with Mapping the Interior by Stephen Graham Jones, as this is a very short little horror book, and it's about to be nighttime. You couldn't tell from the beautiful sunlight that is coming through my window right now, but it is already almost 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I just got off work, so we're gonna start by reading this book tonight. Again, it's gonna be a physical read, but again, it's very short. This is, how many pages is this? This cute little novella is 96 pages. So we'll possibly crush this tonight, if not fully crush it tomorrow. So very excited to do that. I think tomorrow I'm also gonna have my sister come over and we might do like a horror movie night. So we might also get to read in the dark, but also have like a horror movie reading or watching moment. So we can just add that into this fun little vlog. I believe she also has like some prompts that she does for like Instagram, but I think there's some ways that we can make this like a winter spooky season. Obviously you also can't tell that it's winter because I'm wearing a t-shirt. It is currently, again, it's January. It is 70 something degrees here. It's currently 77 degrees outside. For Houston, that's just regular temperatures for like winter. So it's fine, I guess. It's very humid though. It does not feel like winter. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. So, you know, we're doing what we can this Winterween. It still feels like regular regular October here, but it's fine. Let's get started with this here in a little while. My daughter is currently with my mom, so we've got like an hour before I have to go pick her up. So I think I might get started on this now, and yeah. I do need to film a video for my YouTube channel. I try to do those on Fridays while my daughter is away so that there's less chaos involved. So I'm trying to decide if I'm actually gonna spend this hour reading this now or if I want to spend that hour recording that video. I think I'm gonna record the video. I think that's more pressing. I can read while my daughter's around, but I cannot record a video while she's around screaming in the background. So let's go do that. When we're done, I'll check in. All right, so it is officially nighttime outside. Hello, sir. So that means it's time to start our first read of Winterween. I'm actually gonna put on Gabby's readathon that she did with Gavin and Jan earlier today. I'm gonna put that on the TV while I read. Just to have something to like listen to while I'm reading, and I think that's pretty much it. Obviously my cat needs cat cuddles. Also ignore the fact that I still have up my Christmas tree and it's January 9th. Maybe we'll try to put this away while we're doing Winterween this weekend, but let's turn on the readathon. Okay, so we're gonna get that going on the TV, and then we're gonna get started on this guy. I'm very excited to see what this is about. I am nervous, but I am excited. I'm very excited to watch this sprint, but also to use this sprint as time to read, and potentially while we're doing talking portions of the sprint, I'm gonna work on some video editing in between. So it's currently 7:57, so we'll finish reading, or we'll start reading basically probably at 8 o'clock and see if I can get through this whole book before bedtime. Probably gonna go to bed around like 10:30 or 11. I don't have any big plans tomorrow, but my sister's coming over. We're gonna watch some spooky movies, so excited to do that. And yeah, just hang out and have a chill day at the house. Probably gonna recruit her to help me take down this Christmas tree. She doesn't know that yet, but she'll find out when she gets here, so let's get going. started it. I made it 25 pages in, I think, or 30 pages, I can't even remember. So far, this is very interesting. It's not what I expected. I know that Stephen Graham Jones is Indigenous, so I'm not surprised that it talks more about Indigenous culture and Indigenous, culture and heritage and things like that, but it's still like, I don't know, that's not what I was expecting the story to be. It almost sort of reads like a memoir in a way. I don't think that it is, but it kind of reads that way as of right now. Other than that, I am still watching Gabby and Jan on reading sprints. It is a reading sprint, but I have honestly just been doing some editing on my computer, trying to prep for my next video. This video will be up, well, this vlog will be up after this video is already released, so you'll have already seen it. This is my 2026 anticipated horror movies and books, so I'll link that video somewhere around here and you can go watch it if you want to. But very excited for getting this one done and getting this out. Again, this will be up Sunday, so the 12th of January, and this vlog will be out sometime after that. I don't know when. So yeah, I'm just gonna finish working on some editing. I'm gonna get like halfway through at least tonight, and then continue reading some more of my book. Like I said, I am enjoying it. It's not what I thought it was gonna be, so I'm interested to see how things progress. It's very interesting. Officially finished Mapping the Interior by Stephen Graham Jones. This took me longer than it should have to finish reading, but I did finish it tonight. I've stopped at like 50% of the way through last night, but I finished the other half of it today. My sister ended up coming over. We got to watch movies. We watched Silent Hill, and then we watched Annihilation, and then we watched Cuckoo. All of those movies, very good. When we watched Silent Hill, we rewatched it because we're gonna go see Silent Hill, or Return to Silent Hill, this month. So we wanted to rewatch it together to just kind of like remember everything and just have like a discussion about the movie before we go see the Return to Silent Hill. And then we watched Annihilation because we found some like clip on Instagram of a scene from the movie, and we were both like, yeah, we need to watch that. Like, what the heck is that? Apparently we've watched the movie before. We own it digitally and it's already been watched. Neither one of us recall watching it though, so not sure. That was a weird ass movie, by the way. I don't remember ever watching that movie before, but watching it with my sister tonight, I was like, what even is this? The ending was just so crazy. And then we watched Cuckoo, the movie with Hunter Schafer. So good, very, very interesting. The ending, again, very odd and weird, and like there's some holes in the story that we were like, what in the heck is up with the human cuckoo? Like, I don't understand. I'm so confused. But it was a good movie overall. Very enjoyable, very scary, also very like, what in the heck is going on? Ew, gross. Yeah, it was all over the place, but we watched both of those and then they left. I put my daughter down for bed and then I came in here to finish reading this. So I finished the second half in a little under an hour and this is really good. Again, based on the synopsis of what this book is supposed to be about, what you actually get is very different. There is a lot of commentary about Indigenous life and, you know, kind of the history of horrors that Indigenous people go through, and I think there's a lot of commentary on Indigenous men specifically, obviously because that's Stephen Graham Jones's like category class to speak on, essentially. So he does talk a lot about being an Indigenous boy and being an Indigenous father and an Indigenous man in general, and what the world looks like around you and how it interacts with you and how you interact with it. And there's a lot of like phrases of like, but that's just how it is to be an Indian, and that's how it is to be Indian, and it just, a lot of it obviously breaks my heart because it's a tale as old as time, unfortunately, of minorities being basically shat on. There's no real other way to say it, but having to like deal with the repercussions of something so awful that happened to you centuries and centuries ago, and it's still affecting you and your people in such an awful and terrifying way. Obviously this isn't necessarily about like the horrors of being an Indigenous person exclusively, but it is about just like being an Indigenous person, and specifically an Indigenous son and boy, and what that looks like with a dead father who is also Indigenous, and how that plays out for you in life and later in life. And yeah, it was good. It was very good. I very much enjoyed this one. I think this is probably my favorite story that I've read by Stephen Graham Jones so far. Obviously I've only read I think 2 at this point. I think my next read from Stephen Graham Jones is definitely going to be I Was a Teenage Slasher, because that's another one that a lot of people rave about, so I'll probably read that as my next Stephen Graham Jones. But this was very good for a novella, and for it to only be less than 100 pages. There was so much information packed into this, and it's heartbreaking. I don't really have any other way to explain that or to describe it. It is heartbreaking. And to see the repeated cycle that continues to happen over and over again to the people in this book, and not just the people in this book, but the real people in the real world and real life. It sucks. And I don't know. I felt a lot of things reading this, obviously. So I highly recommend it if you haven't read it before. And now I'm gonna start reading Vicious while I also work on my diamond art thing. My sister-in-law got me this diamond art for Christmas. I've always wanted to do one of these, but I never bought one because I was like, I don't know, like not just consumerism, but also like plastic and I don't know, ecosystems. Y'all, I overthink everything. I can't just have fun. That's the point. But she got this for me, so I've been working on it and I'm really enjoying it. I really do like it. I know that they make diamond art bookmarks, and so I think that might be the next thing that I go for, because this is huge, and so it's taking me quite a long time to like work through this. Like, I've only done one color. I don't know if that's easy to see with the plastic on it, but I've only done the black, which is like the biggest section I think of color here. But I did all of that while I was listening to Dungeon Crawler Carl. It's really fun. It's really cool. It does hurt my back because I'm elderly at this point, but I do enjoy it. So I'm gonna do that while I listen to the audiobook for Vicious tonight before I go to bed. It's currently 10:15 on Saturday the 10th. So yeah, welcome to day 2 of Winterween. Or I guess the end of day 2 of Winterween, because it's about to be day 3. So I'm gonna go do my diamond art and listen to Vicious, and I will see y'all probably in the morning. Okay, I just woke up and I haven't done anything with my hair, so please ignore it. Anyway, it's 10:30 in the morning. I didn't just wake up, I've been up since like 8:30, but I read some of Vicious last night on audio while I was playing with my diamond art. I had so much fun. I think I'm gonna do more of it today because I just want to. I try not to do it during the day when my daughter is awake because it does seem like something that could cause a distraction for her and her want to be like all in the mix. So we're gonna try and do it, but we'll see. Anyway, I read Vicious last night. I didn't finish it. I got probably like 30% of the way in. I actually don't know how much of it I ended up finishing, but it's good so far. There's a lot of timeline jumping. So at the beginning I was very confused and I had to restart it like 10 minutes into the audio. And I was like, wait, I don't know what's happening. I'm not understanding. Essentially, we're following two characters, Victor and Eli. They're best friends. They go to college together. They're like the smartest kids in their class, apparently. They have to do their senior thesis, and one of them decides to do their thesis on, I don't remember what they called it, OEs or ODs or something like that. Essentially, they're wanting to discover if there is any supernatural connections to near-death experiences. And it's just supposed to be like a thesis paper. It's not supposed to be anything else. But Victor and Eli decide they're actually going to make this into a real experiment and like test it and figure out if there's something real behind it. Oh yeah, it's called EOs, Extraordinary Abilities. They decide that they're going to do like a real test and figure out how this actually works. All of this is like the synopsis on the back basically, but we're jumping timelines while we're going through the story. So it does lead you to believe a certain thing in the first part of the book. And I was like, oh no, this is what ended up happening. And obviously that's not what ended up happening. I thought something bad happened to somebody, which something bad does happen to somebody's, but not the thing that I thought. So far I'm really liking it. It's very good. It started out was very confusing from an audiobook experience because I didn't realize it was timeline jumping. So now I'm having to really pay attention to like what timeline we're on when we're talking. But other than that, it's been really good. I'm excited to see what ends up happening and like what the actual story is here. This does seem to involve like more of a superhero kind of thing, which I wasn't expecting. I didn't think that that's what we were doing here, but you know, superheroes, I guess, in a way. I'm gonna keep reading this. I'm probably gonna do some diamond art. I need to go make some breakfast because I haven't eaten. My daughter has eaten, thankfully. She had some oatmeal, but I need to go make some breakfast. So I'm gonna go make some breakfast, listen to more of this on audio while I do some diamond art, and just have a slow morning. Today's the 11th, so it's Sunday. We've got a few more days, so I'm gonna get through this. Hopefully I can get through most of it today, and if not, finish it tomorrow so that we can start Wild Dark Shore, because I am very excited to get into that one and wrap up the Winterween vlog. I'll see you when I have maybe more that I can tell you. I don't know if I can tell you much about what's going on without spoiling it, but I'll come back with an update. Wanted to share with y'all my update for Vicious by B.E. Schwab. I'm 72% of the way through this and I have mixed feelings, okay? I do have mixed feelings about this book. Part of me is like, this is an interesting premise. I like the concept for the book. The idea of extraordinary individuals being a thing and only being created by having to have death experiences that they come back from, right? Like I like the premise. I like the idea and the concept. What I'm not liking is the actual execution through this book. Again, I'm 72% of the way in and I feel like I'm just now getting to the point, if that makes sense. I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm trying not to like talk about like what's actually going on, but ultimately like once you get through like a part of the book, you figure out what has happened beyond the synopsis. It doesn't take very long for you to figure out like what happened and what the story is about. But like once we figure out what the story is about and what happened, from there on we're just trying to get to an end goal, and it feels like we've been trying to get to an end goal for a very long time. Okay, so we get to like the main point of the book around chapter 25, so page 119 or 118. So at this point we figured out what the actual like story is, what happened, why we are where we are with all the flashbacks and present time, right? It takes 120 pages to figure that out. Not upset about that. I loved it. It's the fact that I'm now on page 269 and I am like, all of this is like, it's not necessary in my opinion. Like, there's a lot of explanation of the other characters outside of Eli and Victor. So we have a lot of explanation of who these other characters are, how they came to be a part of the groups that they're a part of, and like what their backstory is. And I like that, but it feels like we didn't need this much of a, like, are you serious right now? Like, that's over 150 pages that we're just like preambling about side characters. I don't know, y'all. I just don't know. I'm gonna finish it. I'm not gonna stop. Again, I'm 72% of the way in, so I'm gonna read some more tonight in bed. I don't think I'll finish it tonight. I think it'll be a finish it tomorrow book, but I am like, I don't know, like, what are the other books gonna be now? Obviously, I have to finish it to figure out why there's a trilogy and what the trilogy is about. But I don't know. I'm very like, about why we spent this long to get to the point. Because we're just now getting to the point. We're explaining, again, we just finished 268. I just finished this is part 2. On chapter 15 of part 2. I just finished chapter 15 of part 2. And that was explaining the final side character. Again, why did we need over 150 pages to explain 3 additional characters, guys? We're talking about 3 additional characters that were like thoroughly like followed and explained as to who they are and how they became who they became. Ultimately, we've spent 150 plus pages just explaining 3 people. And we didn't even find out about the third person until literally 2-3 pages ago. So, I don't know. I feel like we're just like meandering for the sake of meandering, in my opinion. I don't feel like it's helping me understand these characters more, to understand their like thought processes and like why we are doing what we're doing. Like, I don't think it's helping me really like either feel good or bad or anything about them, in my personal opinion. I say that obviously having read it, so like if I hadn't read it, I don't know that I can unknow it, so I don't know that I would feel the same necessarily. But like, I don't know, I'm feeling 3 stars about it, you know what I'm saying? I'm feeling 3 stars. Like, it's good, I like the premise, but the execution feels weird. And it feels weird to me too because, again, it's V.E. Schwab, and I loved The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Loved it. Ate that ish up. And I really liked Gallant. Like, it wasn't Addie LaRue, but I liked it. So to be reading this where I'm just kind of like, girl, what are we doing? I feel like we're just meandering, and it's confusing to me. Anyway, the parts that I do like about this story, there's some psychology that goes into this. There's also some like religious talk that goes into this. And I find it all very fascinating as a psych student, obviously. I do think that like there is some merit to some of the discussion of, oh, so you feel this way and you're doing what you're doing because you believe a certain way. Not because you think that these people are one thing or another, but because there is some like contradictory behavior that's happening too with one of the characters. And it's kind of like trying to get in the mind of that character and understand like why you feel one way about everything, but like when it applies to you, you're like, oh no, but not me. I don't like that. I don't like that. And you're not supposed to. I don't think we're supposed to like this character. I think we are supposed to find this character to be like nefarious and like a poor narrator of his own story. I will say for one of the main characters, I believe it's Victor, I'm kind of like, I don't really like you either. I do think both of these characters have some kind of neurosis going on. I think that they are both kind of narcissistic. They read that way. And like the way that they think about things and the way that they engage with others, they're very self-absorbed individuals. and they think about themselves before they think about other people. Not to say that that's a bad thing, but the way that they do it in the book, I'm like, you're not a nice person. You're not a nice person. I don't really like either one of you. I like one of you more than the other. I hate one of you more than the other. So far, 3 stars, but we still have a little bit to go. So I'll update you at some point tomorrow. Tomorrow is Monday, the 12th. So I have to work. I'm working with no babysitter tomorrow, so hopefully it's not a late night and we can actually finish this. If we don't finish it tonight, tomorrow evening, once the husband comes home and he can take over baby duty. I'll see y'all with my next update, and hopefully it's a good one. All right, I finished Vicious last night, actually. So my update, and I get to on to my next book. I'm excited. Okay, so my update for Vicious is I gave it 3.5 stars. It was good, but it just wasn't, it didn't do what I thought. I don't know, I expected more for the ending that we got. I was very surprised, honestly. And ultimately, in the end, I just was like, one, I was confused as to how we were even gonna have a trilogy. I think I understand where the trilogy will come in based on the ending, like the very, very ending, the last scene. But I'm confused how the last scene's gonna play out because of the things that we learn with one of our side characters' abilities and what it does to people who are made special after death. I'm trying not to say too much for the people who haven't read it, but for the people who have read it, I hope that makes sense what I'm saying. I have Vengeful, so I already have book 2, so I'll be reading that at some point in this year. I'm not super like, ooh, I need to go read that now though. I'm not. Based on how this ended, you could honestly, I feel like you could read this and just stop. To be fair, obviously if you want to know what happens after the last scene, you'll need to continue, but like if you weren't all that thrilled by it, I could see stopping. And I was kind of disappointed. I'm just kind of sad because I love V.E. Schwab, but this book didn't do the things for me that it should have. I love the commentary that it had, again, on like religion and things like that and the themes that they talked about within the book, but the actual storytelling just wasn't all there for me. So 3.5 stars, like I said. And I already own Vengeful, the second book, so we'll see. What I am excited for is to move on to my next book. I'm excited. This is the last book for the Winterween vlog. The Winterween ends on Thursday, so we're way ahead. It's only Monday. It's Monday the 12th. So we're like way ahead of the curve. So I could potentially throw in another book if I really wanted to, but I think I am gonna stop after I finish this one. And I think it might even take me till Thursday, to be honest, because I want to physically read this. The last 2 books I read with audio because I was doing my diamond painting, and I could audio this one, and I might at some point if I want to, but I kind of really want to read this one. The chapters, I believe, are quite short. I went to go get the audiobook through Spotify, which I know we're not doing Spotify anymore, guys, so don't get mad at me. But the chapters are like really short. One chapter is not even a full page. Another chapter is like a page and a half. Some chapters are a little bit longer, but like, again, like the chapters are relatively short, which I feel like I love a short chapter book. I know that this is like a popular conversation, I think, right now, with chapters being very short, and I feel like because of our like attention span problems, when we're reading books with shorter chapters, it feels like we're moving through them faster and that we're progressing faster, even if the book is like 400, 500, 600 pages, right? But because the chapter is so short, we're like, oh, I marked that one off. I could go for another one. I could read another one. I could read another one. So I'm excited to read this one. Short chapters, but I'm nervous about my emotional well-being because people have cried reading this. I want to cry reading this. I do. I want an emotional read. I would love that. But I'm also just very like nervous. But anyway, Wild Dark Shore, here we go. Let's go read. I'm done reading for the night. I didn't make it very far. We made it to page 19. Okay, so I can tell you pretty much what's happened so far because it's the synopsis of the book, but essentially we're following a family who lives on a remote island outside of Antarctica, and a woman washes ashore during a horrible storm, and she's near death, and they're gonna basically try to nurse her back to health. So far what has happened, this woman has come to shore and this family is going to take care of her. They're trying to like nurse her back to health. There's something weird going on with the father. There's 3 kids, an 18-year-old boy, a 17-year-old girl, and I think I said a 9-year-old boy, and they've all lived on the island. They're in charge of taking care of like seeds. They have like a seed vault that they're taking care of that for some reason on this island, and the seeds I guess are supposed to be used to help like repopulate like parts of the earth. So whatever they're doing there is very important, but this woman comes ashore and now they're having to take care of her at the same time as this big storm has come to the island and has caused havoc to the island. So basically right now nothing super crazy has happened. The only thing I will say is we've already learned that the mother has died and that that's causing the father a lot of like grief, and we have learned that one of the there was like a research area on this island where they keep all the seeds, and like other people were on this island with this family. They weren't the only ones there, but now they are, because the island is about to close and they're all about to have to leave this island because they're packing up the seeds to take them away, and everybody who used to do research there is gone. But he does mention like something about one of the like old houses on the island when he's going to go check some things after the storm to make sure everything's okay. He notes that he has to like do something before this woman finds out something, and they mention that he's like in this building doing some weird stuff, doing some suspicious stuff, and I'm curious what the heck has happened in this building that he doesn't want anybody to know about. That's as far as I've made it. Of course the cat leaves now, so I could continue to read on, but I will also say it is already 10:15 and I do have to work in the morning and I need to go to bed. I didn't go to bed until super late last night. All that being said, I thought I would have more time to read tonight and I unfortunately didn't. Again, I edited parts of this video already so that I can upload it soon, but also my daughter didn't want to go to sleep tonight. I don't know what her deal is. I mean, I do. She's teething. It's just a baby thing. It doesn't matter. But she didn't want to go to sleep, so I spent an hour trying to get her to sleep, and obviously that cuts into my reading time and I need to go to bed. I can't stay up. I might read for like another 15 minutes until 10:30, but I kind of just want to go to sleep. I'm really tired today. I might keep reading, y'all. I might at least try to get to page 50. I'm gonna go back and continue reading. I'll update y'all if I find out more that's within the synopsis that I can tell you. Pretty much I feel like with most books, anything within like the first 50 pages is fair game to share because it's the beginning of the book. Like, I don't know. That's just how I feel. But I'll come back with an update shortly. Hi guys. So here's the thing. I am having a really not good day. Today is Tuesday, the 13th, I believe, of January, and it's just not been a good day for me mentally. I'm just really struggling today. So unfortunately, I did absolutely no reading after my clip from last night. I didn't read at all today. I've just been like, I've been out of it, honestly. So that being said, I am not gonna read tonight either. I don't feel like it, to be quite honest. I just want to go to bed. It's currently 7:30. I don't normally go to bed this early at all, but I'm tired, and my exhaustion is more, it's not necessarily, I don't know, I'm having like, I guess, mental exhaustion, if you will. So yeah, I'm just exhausted. Mentally, physically, all of the lees, I'm exhausted. And so tonight, instead of reading, which is what I should be doing because I really wanted to have this vlog done and up tomorrow, but it's just not gonna happen. And I just need to also learn that that's okay and that I can pivot if I need to. It's not the end of the world, so it is what it is. So tonight what we're gonna do is I'm gonna make a cup of hot decaf tea and I'm gonna get my happy little butt in this bed, and I'm gonna put on Twilight and fall asleep. That's what I feel like doing. That's what feels good to me right now. My daughter's already in bed. She had a rough day too, and that probably contributes to why I feel like I'm having a rough day. And so because of that, my husband's gone, so it's just me. I'm just gonna cuddle up in my bed, get cozy, watch some Twilight, and go to bed. I'll bring you with me for my tea and Twilight night for a little while, but hopefully I feel better tomorrow and I can wrap up my book tomorrow. I don't think I'll actually wrap it up tomorrow either because there's so much to read. I didn't even make it to page 50 last night. I ended up stopping, I think around like 38 or something like that. So there's still quite a few pages that need to be read. We still have like 250 pages to read, and I believe that will probably take me through Thursday to finish. So vlog will be up when it is up and when I'm done, and that's just going to be the gist of it, and that's okay. I hope you guys are enjoying your Winterween, and I hope it's going well. It is also feeling winter now. I know at the start of this vlog I was like, it's 70 degrees. It's been 50s in the daytime and 30s at night, so it feels winter now. I got what I asked for, I guess. Anyway, time to snuggle up, time to get cozy. I'm wearing my Tim Burton and Chill sweatshirt. I'm gonna stop yapping because I just want to get my butt in this bed. I'm so tired, y'all. I'm just so exhausted. So let's go. I decided, because it is so early and I literally don't go to bed this early, that instead of not reading, I'm gonna read just a little bit. I'm not gonna read a lot. I don't want to, but I am gonna read just a little bit just to make some kind of progress today. Like I said, I stopped on page 35. Look at my bookmark. Isn't that so cute? I love the green and pink. On theme, obviously. I'm on page 35 now, so I think I'm gonna read up to page 50 while I eat my dinner, because I haven't eaten my dinner. Once I'm done eating, I'm gonna stop reading and we'll watch some Twilight. So let's get into it. To page 50, so that was good. I'm exhausted, as you can see. Finished my dinner, drank a bunch of water, read my book. Now it's time to go to bed, so I'm gonna put on some Twilight, drink my hot tea in my Stay Golden Girl mug, and we're just gonna go to bed. I don't really have much to report other than I found a secret nugget in the book about the potential as to why our character is on this island when she wasn't supposed to be on this island. Something suspicious has happened. Something suspicious is afoot. And also something mentally is wrong with this husband. Not in like necessarily like a bad or aggressive or like ugly way, but like he's going through something and it's very odd, and something's up with the daughter and her not wanting to be a part of the rest of the family for some reason, and I'm not really sure what that is about either. So very interested to see where this story ends up going. Again, hopefully I can finish it tomorrow night. It would be really nice if I can just finish the whole thing tomorrow, but we'll see. I do have work tomorrow. We're gonna get Twilight going on the TV back here and go to sleep. So I'll see y'all sometime tomorrow. All right, y'all, we made it. So today is Friday the 16th. I did in fact finish Wild Dark Shore yesterday on Thursday the 15th, so the last day of Winterween. So when I first started reading this, I was like, I don't know what I'm reading. I don't know what I'm supposed to be expecting here. I don't know what I'm getting reading this book. And I think to kind of summarize what this book kind of talks about without spoiling things, there's a lot of conversations around trauma, around the ethics of children, around climate change and climate control. There's a lot of conversations around those three topics as the most prevalent things that are discussed here. But there's also like a romance in here. There is like a little bit of a relationship that I found very cute and was like, oh my gosh. I will say, like, as I was reading this, before we get closer towards the end of the book, I did start feeling like, probably like the last hour and 30 minutes of the book, I was like, oh, okay, it all makes sense. But before then, I was like, why are we diving so deeply into like all of these nuances and things of these people's lives? And like, duh, Angel, like you probably should have figured out that there is a reason for this and it's not just because. However, there have been books where I've read where they talk about things and it has absolutely no relevancy to anything else and you're like, wait, what was that about? Everything that is discussed in this book does come back later to like point to something, and the way that this book makes me care so deeply for this character that I know nothing about, all of these characters really, where I just start all of a sudden, I'm like, I can't not care about these people. And the amount of care that I have, I cried. At first I was like, there were certain scenes where I was like, is this where everybody's crying? Is this why everyone's crying? And I was like, I must be heartless because like this isn't making me cry. Not realizing that it's like the last 5 chapters of the book. That is what it is. The tears don't come until the very end. And when I tell y'all I was sobbing, and then I'm retelling the story to my husband and I'm sobbing, crying to him, trying to explain it to him, like this was so good. And like I even told my husband, like, I'm crying explaining this book to him and explaining what happened and what happens to these characters, and I'm just sobbing. And I'm like, and the whole crazy thing about this is it's not even real. These aren't real people. But it was so good. This is a 5-star, if you hadn't guessed. This is a 5-star, not only because of it making me emotional, but I do like all the things that we like kind of discuss and the nuance that's there. There is some like botanical explanations of like plant life and things like that. Botany, I guess, is what that would be considered, where we do talk about like plants and we talk deeply about plants. But there is like, as I'm reading some of the chapters, I'm like, oh, is the reason why we're talking about this plant specifically because it has something to do with something later? Or like, am I supposed to be deriving something from it? And for some of the plants, I don't really think that there was something we're supposed to be taking from it necessarily, but then we learn later that maybe there was. All that to say, this was a great book. I don't want to give it away. I don't want to tell what the ending is, but if you haven't read it and you do like more emotional stories where you're following a group of characters, this is a POV book, so we are reading each chapter is from a different person's perspective. I believe there was like 5 or 6 characters that we follow throughout the chapters. One character only has like 1 chapter. We do follow 4 characters consistently throughout the entire book. So it is a POV. If that's not something you like, then you probably won't like this. If you don't want to read stories that kind of tie into real life in a way, you probably won't want to read this. I have not really read many books like this in my opinion. This is, I think, more of a general fiction, but it was really good. I really did enjoy it. I loved it, and this is a 5-star of the year, guys. And Books and Lala and everybody else who loved this book, you were right, okay? I'm telling you, I agree. You were right. So there. So with that wraps up the Winterween reading vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed coming along with me. I had a great time, read some really great books, really enjoyed myself overall. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully maybe I'll see you again for Summerween. Until then, bye guys.